Amy's January book review. First, The Candy Makers by Wendy Mass. I read this book quite a long time ago, but when I saw this on my shelf, I knew I had to read it again. And even though I read this book before, the whole story seemed so new to me. And I really loved how the author separated the chapters in four characters so I could read the story in different perspectives. And even though it is in chronological order, some of the events overlap to see how the events are seen from the perspectives. And I really love the main character as well, Logan. He is such a good kid. And even though he went through so much, he is always inviting to everybody. He's such a kind and smart kid. And even though some people are hostile to him, he is always welcoming. And this story felt so colorful to me. Like the factory, the events that happened, it just reminds me so much of the movie Wonka and the book Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by Roald Dahl. The second book is The Midnight Library by May Tag. It is a great book that I didn't know that an idea could come down to a page like this. There's a portal between life and death, the Midnight Library, and I would really like to go to the Midnight Library because you can experience lives in different lives in such a short time. Like I could be a policewoman or a singer or an archaeologist all in a day. And if I didn't like that life, I could return back to my normal life. This this book has a lot of short stories because the main character experiences so many different lives and it's very fast paced and there's a lot of short stories just crammed into one book that it's such a journey to read the book. I really enjoyed the book since the character moves on from being an archaeologist to a singer and to something even more crazy. The third book is One of Us is Lying by Kara McManus. This book, the title just screams out to me. The letters kind of look like they're written in blood. And even though I don't really enjoy murder mysteries very much, this book was really good for me. And it says if you pay close attention, you can actually solve the mystery. And I really tried to solve the mystery, but it was so complicated. And I was thinking of a total different suspect when the murder was right before my eyes. And the last murder was so unexpected to me. I loved how the author explained the whole drama and everything in this book, how she orchestrated the scene in such a flawless way. The fourth book is The Mystery Made by Nita Prose. This is kind of like a classic murder mystery from like Sherlock Holmes or a mystery book, but like this wasn't such a great read. It is such a classical story with a murder that happens before everybody's eyes, and then there's the unexpected murder. And even though it's very complicated to read, I mostly understood it. And it wasn't one of my best mystery novels. It kind of overlapped with some of the other mystery novels I read. So even though it says it's a great book that many people love it, I didn't really enjoy it. But this is a trilogy to the other book, The Maid. But I would really like to read The Maid because some of the facts in this book overlaps with that book. The last book is Tom Felton Beyond the Wand. I liked this actor before I read this book because he is the actor who played Draco Malfoy in Harry Potter. And I loved his act in the movie, how flawlessly he did, how he slipped into the character like he was really in that situation. And after I read this book, I found how a good person he is at heart. He is such a humble person. He never is bragging about his work or he always gives credit to somebody else. And there is a quote to show how humble he is. This is this is a part in the book that he shows that when he is praised, I felt unfairly praised. So much of the effectiveness of the scene deserves from the way it was shot and where it lands in the story, from factors that were far beyond my control. And even though he received so many praises from so many big actors, he always says it was thanks to somebody else. And I think that's so humble of him. And he in this book he's very truthful. He is not shy to hide the bad things he did when he's a kid, like when he illegally stole something. He does not try to sugarcoat it in this book. He is very truthful to himself and the readers. And when he should not be truthful, he is a very good person. This is a scene where he is at a fan meeting and a girl asks him a question. I leaned forward conspicuously, winked at her, and said, Are you 11 yet? No. So you still haven't had your letter? No. Just you wait, I tell her. Just you wait. The girl's face shone, and you can sense a real excitement in the audience. And he knew that the girl didn't want exactly the truth. She was still living the dream of being in the Harry Potter world. So he decided not to be truthful and to be a good person to not break that girl's dream. And when this is another scene when he is thankful for other people. I've been a very different person if I hadn't given the opportunity to experience the ups and downs of a normal life alongside the madness of being part of Harry Potter. As it was, I had the best of both worlds. Even though his life was a crazy mess between acting normal life and acting normal life, he had a lot of problems along the way, but in the end, when he looked back on his experience, he is only thankful for the lessons he learned. He looks at everything in such a positive way, and he looks at everybody in a positive way. In this book, it has other actors like Alan Rickman, Emma Watson, or Rupert Grint, but he explains them such good people. He doesn't really talk about himself as a good person, but I think he's not giving credit to himself too much. He did a great job in the movie. He is an amazing actor. And when I first read the title, Beyond the Wands, I thought it would be like only the backstage scenes of Harry Potter because it was Beyond the Wands. But it was a memoir about how his acting life was. And even though I really do not enjoy reading memoirs, I thought memoirs were not very fun to read. But when I read a memoir about an actor that I liked, the memoir was so much more vivid, and I got so much more information about the book and movie I love, Harry Potter. So this book was a great book. I read this book 3 times because even every time I read it again and again, it always brought a smile to my face. Happy reading!